Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Talk Physical Media Live, the show we do every single Wednesday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk about all the news in the world of physical media. And it really wasn't a very busy week in the world of physical media, but we do got some stuff to cover, so we'll get into it. I'm hoping that you guys are all having a great night. Everybody who's here, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. This is the physical media show first, but also we talk a little bit about just like what's going on in the world of movies. I also do the digital code giveaway at the very end of this. So if you guys are here for that, not at the very end, we'll do it like in the middle. But if you guys are here for that, don't worry, we'll get to it. So hopefully you guys are having a great night. I see Mozart's Ghost is here. What's up, buddy? Thanks for popping in. Got my cup of tea. Hopefully add some energy. Been up since 4 o'clock in the morning because my dogs, for some reason, I don't know, their sleep schedule's kind of messed up. So woke me up and I couldn't go back to sleep. So now I'm up. What's up, Insomniac? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Hope you're having a good night. Hopefully everybody's having a great night. Ben Rondo's here too. What's up, buddy? Thanks for popping in as well. Mozart's Ghost. I'm having dinner right now. This is a perfect show. It is the perfect show to eat dinner to, isn't it? And I'm going to get to talk about movies and physical media, things that we truly love. So I'm not going to bury the headlines, obviously, on you guys. Trust the Gorton's fisherman. Yes. Really nothing concrete or confirmed this week. A lot of rumors, and some of the big rumors are obviously the Blade trilogy. Let's see when Simon. I need to know your hat size so I could send you a Patriots Championship 2026 hat. Good, you could send it to me, and then you can watch me burn it. Because they're definitely they're a great team. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, Mike Vrabel came in there and turned their team around. I didn't know how I felt about them firing what's his name, Gerard Mayo from last year. I was like, you only gave him 1 year, and he is a Patriot, and like, but I guess when Mike Vrabel's there, it's just like kind of how like John Harbaugh's out there. It's like, how do you not interview those guys? But I don't blame you for being a Patriots fan. I'm just a miserable. I took the sweatshirt off. I was wearing a Jets sweatshirt all day. I don't know why I do it to myself. I think it's just to show people that I know how to deal with pain. The Blade trilogy. So this is rumored to be coming to 4K Blu-ray this year. Mayo couldn't cut it. He was a great coordinator. I agree. I like the guy, but Mike Vrabel's Mike Vrabel, right? Like it's hard to. I would love Mike Vrabel, and obviously he turned it. That this year showed us how good coaching is, like between Kyle Shanahan, Ben Johnson, and Mike Vrabel. And then I'm over here sitting with fucking Aaron Glenn, who is a cornerback, which if people don't know football, he played a defensive back for the Jets, by the way. Jets drafted him. Pete Carroll drafted him, who just got fired by the Raiders. His first draft pick in the NFL. He drafted Aaron Glenn in 1994, and he played cornerback. And you know how many interceptions the Jets had last year? Which is a defensive back position, would most likely get it, them and the linebackers. None. The first team in NFL history to have no interceptions. That's what the Jets do. But anyway, enough about the Jets and the Patriots because, my God, they'll kill you. Blade. Blade is a great movie. What's up, buddy? Thanks for popping in here. The first Blade already has a 4K Blu-ray release that came out a few years ago now, actually. Very good 4K Blu-ray release. I reviewed it here on the channel. But Blade 2 has been a rumor for a while now because of Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro directed the second Blade film. Blade Trinity was directed by the writer of the first film, which I'm drawing a blank on. It's Scott something. And that is by far the worst of the trilogy is number 3. 1 and 2 are by far the best. 1 and 2 get close. 2 gets close to 1. But I have to like taper myself with that because I'm just a big Guillermo del Toro fan. So maybe that's why I like Blade 2 so much. But I have such a vivid memory of the Blade 2 trailer. When the lights pop up in that movie with the big wall of lights. I remember, I don't remember what year it was. It might have been Spider-Man. I don't know. But when I saw the trailer for that, I mean, it just stuck in my mind. It's such a good movie, Blade 2. And I thought that might get a solo release because of Guillermo del Toro, possibly through the Criterion Collection. But I shouldn't be surprised. Warner Brothers is not going to let up on that. And they're going to supposedly release the whole trilogy on 4K Blu-ray. I hope so because we need them. Could have been worse. At least you're not a Browns fan. I think Browns fans have a little bit more hope than us. Hello, Sir John. Thank you, buddy, for popping in here. Blade 98 to 2002 are coming to 4K disc release. Good news. I am happy to see it. Yeah, I hope so. Oh my God. Gifted thank you so much. Every week Insomniac comes on this show and gives 10 more channel memberships to everybody. And if you do get that membership, that on the friends of the channel tier, you get my videos all a little bit early because once I make them and edit them, I put them out there and I schedule them. And I've been trying to schedule a little further ahead to try and make this year a little bit easier on myself for 2026 because especially at the end of the year, I feel like I pushed myself a little bit too hard between work and this. So I'm trying to schedule things just in case anything goes wrong. It's not catastrophic to me, which did happen a few times last year. So trying to be a little bit smarter. So if you're a membership, thank you so much, Mr. Thank you so much, Insomniac, for donating those. I really do appreciate that. So hopefully you guys get to enjoy some stuff. I didn't bring it in the room with me, but I just got 1408's 4K Steelbook. The Lionsgate Amazon exclusive. I just got it. Love that movie. I'll have a review out on Sunday. The Gifter. But yeah, I'm pretty damn excited. Now all those people get to see John's videos early. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy them too. Like right now, there's some stuff on the channel. Like you can get to watch the first episode of Axis Cinema Appreciation with David and I on The Godfather, which is a new show that we're going to be doing here on the channel as a spin-off of the Let's Talk Movies podcast. If you saw our show on Monday, we talked about that. So very, very, very excited to get into all those new episodes. And we also talked about how we're going to be doing our Alfred Hitchcock. We're going to be doing the top 10 Hitchcock films, but we're picking from a pool of 20 films. So if you guys want to watch along with that as well, I'm going to share that post tomorrow with the list of movies so you guys can get a look at it. But hey, we're also here to talk about Blade, one of Wesley Snipes' classics. I was talking to somebody yesterday about Wesley Snipes as well. He's we were trying to go down like the greatest actors list, and he's right there. Like as far as he kind of obviously he went to prison because of the tax thing for a while, and that kind of like derailed his career there for a little while. But then when he popped up in Dolomite Is My Name a couple years ago, I was like, damn, Wesley still got it. If he wants to, he still got it. People still want him to come back as Blade, even though Mahershala Ali's Blade, is that even still happening? Probably not, right? People still kind of want Mahershala Ali's, and Mahershala Ali's a great actor. He's a 2-time Academy Award winner, and so it's not like we're talking about any slouch here. But do we need him back like in the Blade franchise? They got to do Blade right. So at least, this year we could possibly be getting from Warner Brothers 1, 2, and 3, and I could see it. I hope so. Man, in today's Hollywood, his tax thing would make his career explode. LOL. You're right. Exactly. That's the craziest thing. That was just something that was more frowned upon back then. Like he was like that got him blacklisted because he didn't pay. That's one thing celebrities, rich people, they can get around anything. But not paying your taxes, that's a huge no-no. So, unfortunately, that kind of derailed Wesley's career. But it started out so hot in the 80s, with Major League. And then, of course, in the early 1990s, he blew up. He had movies like New Jack City and White Men Can't Jump, which are two favorites of mine. Once those movies came around, he was a bona fide star. Work with Harry Tasker or Ethan Hunt? Absolutely. Will it just be Snipes? I mean, I hope like we get them both. Who here to watch Blowout 1989 starring Mr. John Travolta actor? Blowout is a great movie. That's actually my favorite Brian De Palma movie, believe it or not. And Brian De Palma's directed some classics, but I absolutely love Blowout. And it has a great Criterion 4K Blu-ray release. That's one where I bought the Blu-ray 2 weeks before they announced the 4K. And I love Blowout, so I grabbed the 4K too. These things happen in the game of physical media. I loved him in Major League. He was so great as Willie Mays Hayes. Run like Mays, steal like Hayes. Or hit like Hayes. Or one or the other. I'm forgetting it. Oh, it was hit like Mays, run like Hayes. That's what it was. Because remember, he was stealing bases. That was his whole thing. He was pinning the gloves to his wall. Replaced him with Omar Epps in the second one. White Men Can't Jump. I love that movie too. Sidney Dean. He was great. I went after him because members of the different things that he was a part of were involved in human trafficking and other guys as well. They offered him a plea, but then he didn't take it. Yeah, he went to jail for quite some time, which is a shame. New Jack City is amazing. I love New Jack City, and it's a shame because it doesn't feel like it's that remembered. And I don't know. I watched it a lot when I was younger, so I thought it was one of those like big time movies. And then as I got older, it's like I don't hear anyone ever talk about New Jack City anymore, and that's a real freaking shame. That's the second movie I think of when I think of John. What the hell is his name from freaking The Breakfast Club? Like that's the second movie. It's not John Bender. That's the name of the movie, but the actor. That's the other movie that when he pops in my head, that's the other movie I think of, and it's so different from The Breakfast Club. Let's see. And this weekend I had watched the Wesley Snipes, the Demolition Man 1993 movie in an Arrow video Blu-ray. He was in this movie with Mr. Stallone. I love it. Great movie, by the way. I love Demolition Man. Demolition Man. That is one of his best too. I almost didn't bring that one up. That was another one where he's like at the height of his powers. Best movie that you need to upgrade soon. Like I always say that Fight Club's like the big one. Like, and there's rumors that it's going to be coming, but I would love to upgrade Fight Club. That's just a huge one. I was gonna, like I'm trying to think about like we want Fight Club, but do we want Fight Club from Disney Buena Vista? Like that's most likely what's going to happen. 20th Century Studios and Disney Buena Vista, like it's Fight Club. They have the rights to it, but it would be cool if like Fight Club came out from like I don't know Arrow Video. Wouldn't that be awesome? Or Criterion, like someone who's going to really give it the love. I just watched Leaving Las Vegas. You kind of carry that with you for a whole day. Yeah, that's actually why I didn't rewatch that movie. I watched that movie for the first time, I want to say like 7 years ago. And that one's rough because it's just so depressing and so sad. It's a hard rewatch. I was gonna grab the 4K to review it, but I was like, do I really want to rewatch Leaving Las Vegas? I don't know. Even though the performances, like Nicolas Cage won Best Actor for that, and well deserved. It's just that a man going to Vegas to essentially kill himself it's a tough movie. I can't, it's a tough one. It's like, what is life? Those 90 Gangsters movies were badass. Yeah, another one I would always throw in there is Miller's Crossing. If we're talking 90s gangster movies, that's a big one from the Coen brothers that I've always absolutely loved. Demolition. I still say, what seems to be your buggle? What does that say? Seems to be your boggle. My favorite looks like me like I'm nuts. My family looks at me like I'm nuts. I actually don't quote Demolition Man that much, buddy. I should probably quote it a little bit more. I only seen Demolition Man like 4 or 5 times. It wasn't one that like all the quotes kind of stuck with me. I was always kind of like, I always thought that Sandra Bullock was really cute in that movie, actually, which is kind of funny because it's before Speed and everything. I'm like, she's like cute as a button in it. I haven't watched that since the 4K came out, but I'm gonna have to watch it soon. So that's a big one. Is the Blade trilogy. Then another one that we got that we've talked about this before, but just in case we haven't, 2010, the year we made contact. That's supposedly coming as well. Now, these are all just rumors that seem to keep popping up, but since there really wasn't much news, I figure we can talk about these movies for a little while, and like hopefully they come. Like obviously 2010, not directed by Stanley Kubrick, but is the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I think it does stand on its own. It has the same problems as a lot of other classic movies that get sequels. It's like they're going to always live in the shadow of the original one. And 2001: A Space Odyssey casts a huge shadow. So it's just like Doctor Sleep, which I think is a very good underrated movie as well, a sequel to The Shining. I think that's a good movie too, but not everyone feels that way about that. So which is fair. I understand. It's just it'll never be The Shining, but how could it be The Shining? Devil is now a documentary. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Who would have thought? Some things they do a little bit better than we do in the modern world. Like, for instance, Taco Bell being the only restaurant. Although I'm not really eating as much Taco Bell as I used to, so what a shame, right? He wants to do a Riddler. What do you say? I mean, he can. If Alfred Hitchcock comes back to life, we can do whatever the hell Alfred Hitchcock wants to do. So I'd be no problem with that. But yeah, 2010. How do you guys feel about that one coming to 4K Blu-ray? If it's really coming, Dylan is now a reality of our modern world we're living in today. Scary, dark future. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think the modern world is a little bit scarier and darker than the Demolition Man. There's some cool stuff going on in Demolition Man. Of course, there's a lot of bad stuff, but the clothes were still pretty cool. But like what they're doing with the police force, asking a lot of questions. Got a lot of questions, that's for sure. Doctor Sleep is amazing, but the baseball could seem a little too long for my liking. And in the extended cut, Insomniac, they actually go even longer than that. They go even further in the extended cut of that baseball kid scene. And every time I see that, I think to myself, because Mike Flanagan, the way he directs, like he feels a little bit like a safe director sometimes. Like think of the Haunting a Hill House and Ouija, Origin of Evil, and Oculus. Like the movies he makes, they feel very safe. Even like from last year, he did Life at Shock. And it was weird that he would have a scene in that movie that was so freaking dark like that to show a kid dying. And what happened to that kid, by the way? Like, he was going to be like the next big thing. That's the kid from the movie The Room. I haven't seen him in anything in a long time. I just can't believe that Dr. Sleep's that old now, but it's been a freaking long time since I've seen that kid in anything. And he was like the next big thing. He still might be. He might just be being a kid out there, which, can you blame the guy? I've never seen 2010. It's good. It's good. It's good. Oh, same thing. Well, it's good, I think, in my opinion. Maybe not for everybody, but I really liked it. They've already announced, even though it doesn't come out till this Friday. And I'm wondering if you guys are even interested in this because I'm on the fence about seeing this. But the new thing is when a major studio puts out a film now, for the most part, they like to announce the 4K and the 4K Steelbook before the movie even comes out or on the day of. Like I would have expected this on Friday when the film launched. But 28 years later, The Bone Temple. And this is the one directed by Neil DaCosta, which is different from the last movie. Speaking of 2010, the first movie was directed by Danny Boyle. Both films are written by Alex Garland, who you guys know, who has written the first two 28 Days Later movies, 28 Days, 28 Weeks Later, and then, of course, the 28 Years Later. He's a great writer, but he also directed Ex Machina, Annihilation. He's a phenomenal director, Civil War, and even from this past year, Warzone. Phenomenal director. Nope, the first 28 Years turned me completely off from the series. I'll stick to the first two movies. See, I really like 28 Years Later, actually. I know I'm the weird one in that. But I enjoyed it. I actually put it in my top 10 movies of the year. And you know what? It could be a lot of the heavy lifting was I did love how the movie looked. I thought the lead actor did great. Aaron Taylor Johnson's always good. But what got me was towards the end of the movie, if you know what I'm talking about, there's a scene where a character passes away. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like I was in the theater and I didn't expect it. It snuck up on me. Like I got the lump in the back of my throat. And I gave the movie a lot of credit for that because I really thought it actually handled that stuff with care. Now, the way that movie ends is supposed to set up the next movie. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that because I'm like, I was able to kind of forgive the ending for like its silliness, but it does have a purpose. So I don't know. But this weekend, I'm definitely going on to see Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice. Like that's what I'm very interested in this upcoming weekend. So maybe the next weekend I'll get to see 28 Years Later. But hey, if you're somebody who's interested, we got the nice 4K Steelbook and the 4K Blu-ray coming. I like the artwork. Steven Nard directed the Blade trilogy films. Right before these films, there was a forgotten sci-fi action horror film named Death Machine 1994. It was released on Blu-ray Kino. I've never seen that. Stephen Norrington directed the Blade. So I think he directed that's the guy I was trying to remember the name of. He directed the third film because the first film I think was Scott Derrickson. No, it's not Scott Derrickson, but the first film was somebody else. The second film is Guillermo del Toro, and then the third film is the writer from the first film, who I think is who you're talking about right now. 28 Years Later could have been an amazing movie. It seemed like they didn't know what they wanted to go with. Weird clips at the beginning of the war zone took me right. See, the beginning and the end is actually what really kind of bothered me too, because those two parts of the movie are really to set up the second movie, while everything else is kind of in the middle, like where we get Aaron Taylor Johnson and everything where they live, and you know how they've kind of cut themselves off, but now the mother gets sick. And basically it's cancer. They don't say it. They just say some sort of disease, but we could tell it's cancer. But then when the son has to take the mother out and like take her to a doctor so he can heal her, and then, oh my God, dealing with grief and stuff like that. Like I'm thinking about it. Like, that's the kind of stuff that gets me. But yes, I agree with you about the beginning and the end of that movie, especially since they don't really lay it out for you. You kind of have to do the research after, like, what the fuck was that? Because it doesn't make sense. We think Disney buying Back to the Future. Well, it doesn't surprise me. Unfortunately, Disney wants to have everything from our childhood. Like they just want that. I mean, it makes sense. Like that's a studio film through and through. Like Robert Zemeckis was working with Universal on that, and Steven Spielberg. Like those are very studio produced films. So it doesn't surprise me. I don't want anything to happen with Back to the Future. I want to leave that trilogy where it is because it's one of the greatest trilogies of all time. I get it. Money talks and bullshit walks, and you know, they got money to throw around, so of course they're going to keep doing it. We're not done with Star Wars movies either. We're not done with the MC. Like, so on Tuesday, my wife and I had a little bit of time, and we never get to like really like we haven't been able to do this since it was really in theaters. I've seen it one or two other times. That's Avengers Endgame, and I was like, let's throw on Avengers Endgame because that was like the finale of the MCU. Let me see if this movie still holds up. It's still great. Like Endgame is great. It's just tough because everything after Endgame is just like a mess. But everything building towards Endgame and then Endgame itself was so good, and the movie still holds up so well, even on its own, knowing everything because it's emotional. Yeah, there's some things in there when you watch it's like this. That's like I'm not a real big fan of the big CGI fest at the very end of it, but I'm not a big fan of any CGI fest at the end of any movie. Like it's where it's just like these superheroes fighting. I'm somebody who's more into like I like the talking. Like I like the dramatic aspects of it. You know, I like the little smaller scenes in comparison to the big fight in front of a green screen. But yeah, the movie, that's a studio film that still holds up very well in my opinion as well. Ben, you hush your mouth. They just bought the rights to pull it on Disney Plus. W still owns Back to the Future. Thank God. I mean, we'll never, in my opinion, like if it ever happens, I don't think it'll happen because I think the studios will hold on to their major properties. It's just the way it goes. They're not going to let that stuff go. Why would they? They're going to always hold on to their major acquisitions. And as they should. I don't want to see anybody else do that but them. But if it happened, my favorite movie, really, Back to the Future. I mean, it's a classic, man. Every time I watch that movie, I fall in love again. It always surprised me how good the trilogy is. Wow, buddy, 26 months. Thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate you always hanging around and kicking it back and just chatting with me and supporting me for all these years, man. That's 2 years of just being a member. That doesn't even include the 2 years where you just hung out, watched all my videos, and supported me. And make sure you guys subscribe to John Doe Juggalo's YouTube channel as well because it's great. He does so much stuff. He just had a live feed the other day counting down his top 25 physical releases of the year. So make sure you guys go over there and subscribe, please. So let's see. What's this say? Reboot my favorite mortician. Stacy. Thank you. And this says, did you watch Dust Devil 1992 movie? It was released. I saw that yesterday in 4K in the USA and kept by Kino Lorber and Oceans Australia and New Zealand by Umbrella Entertainment. I haven't seen that yet, but I did see that was getting a release. It had my interest. I was going to pick up Thunderheart. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I'm like, I've never seen it before, so it would have been a blind buy. I was interested in that. I ordered, let's see, wait, I just got 1408. I think I told you guys 1408 just popped in, so that's always pretty freaking cool. Very excited about that. Let's see. Reboot my favorite Martian. No, not to derail you, but you know the difference in the Criterion and Umbrella versions of Pan's Labyrinth? I'm not yes, actually. So the Criterion version, there's difference in extras, but there's also, if I'm correct, there's a regular studio version of Pan's Labyrinth that's a 4K Blu-ray. I don't know if Umbrella's is 4K Blu-ray or not. I know Criterion's is just a Blu-ray. That's the version I have. I have the Criterion Blu-ray of Pan's Labyrinth. I never picked up the 4K because the initial reviews weren't great for it. And that kind of adds up. And I just assumed, and I still think it's going to happen, that Criterion will update Pan's Labyrinth to 4K Blu-ray. I mean, we got already like 2 other movies that got studio releases from Disney Buena Vista and everything like that with Nightmare Alley and The Shape of Water. So I do think that eventually we'll get an upgrade, but Umbrella probably has the superior version if I had to guess, but I don't know for sure because I haven't seen them both. But if I was guessing, because that member giveaway stuff showed up. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you finally got it. I hope you enjoyed both those movies, buddy. I always worry if they're going to come out. I assume if I don't hear anything that they showed up nice and safe. I do always have the tracking number if they don't. I've got Thunderheart coming. A Val Kilmer I haven't seen yet. Sign me up. Yeah, and then I saw it had a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it felt like one of those movies that just kind of came and went and then just didn't get the love, and now it's got this 4K. I'm like on the fence. I might buy it. Like there might be a time in the next couple of days where I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, man, should I buy Thunderheart? You have to tell me if it's good, since you're getting it so soon. I know it came out today. Or my unobstructed view order of the Kino Lorber Pink Panther films came in. The first one, even though it is a over 60-year-old, still holds its charm well. David and I, aka Shamrock Balls on the channel, were talking about the Pink Panther movies the other day, and I think he said that the third one was this. He sent me a bunch of clips. I haven't watched the Pink Panther movies in years, but I'm thinking of maybe buying them and get rewatching them because they're absolutely hysterical, especially when it comes to slapstick. Peter Sellers is one of the greats. He was showing me the clip of like where he's investigating, and Professor Cousteau he's investigating. He walks into the gym room and he's just walking on the treadmill and he doesn't realize he's walking on a treadmill. Then in the next scene, he flips over the freaking railing and just lands, gets up, and he's like, I guess you're wondering why I gathered you all here today. Just classic stuff. I mean, my God. I know they'll upgrade Pan's Labyrinth, which is why I've held off buying it. Yeah, I have the Blu-ray, so I was like, I didn't feel the need to upgrade to the 4K, especially since the 4K reviews weren't that good. I was like, I love Pan's Labyrinth, and I was thinking about doing a video on it because I still think it's my favorite Del Toro. Although I got to be honest, I know not everybody's a huge fan of Nightmare Alley. I love Nightmare Alley. I really do. Every time I rewatch it, it just gets better for me. And now with the black and white edition, I guess it's too much. Elevator song. Oh yeah, well I'll be singing it. Will do, John. I would really do appreciate you if you let me know if Thunderheart is good. Did you watch French extremely horror films, Mr. John? I watched some French films. I'm not gonna lie. Umbrella Entertainment is releasing a them volume 1, 2. I hope that they can release the third and fourth film on Blu-ray disc. French Extremity. French. So that's the name of it. French Extremity. I've never seen them, but I'm interested. Like if you're watching movies for the first time, when you buy them blindly on physical media, sometimes it's a little bit of a risk, but sometimes it's not. I know that Mr. Smelly Potato, he wanted me to watch Miss 42, and I grabbed the 4K Blu-ray for that. That's going to be his February choice review. I'm excited to actually watch that one for the first time because that's Abel Ferrara, and I love Abel Ferrara, and that's like the movie that crossed over for him. So I'll have to check it out. John, this what? Let's see with this one. The High Tension High Tension's great. I have that movie. It was released in August 2025 by Lionsgate. I have it. I have the Second Sight version of High Tension though. So I have that their standard collector's edition. This is your weekly reminder to watch Arlington Road. Ben Rondo. Well, I watched Arlington Road and it was great. What's scary about Arlington Road to me after watching that movie is I feel like that's something like obviously it's playing with the terrorist attacks and like everything that happened with the FBI and the ATF in the 1990s with Waco, Texas and Timothy McVeigh and everything at Ruby Ridge. I thought it was great. I'm like, obviously they're not saying these things out loud, but the way they showed it in the movie, like you can tell like they're talking about the Oklahoma City bombings, even though it's a different guy. And they're talking about how like these things happen and like how they blame it on people. And I was like, wow, this is a very timely movie. 26 years, what was it? 1999, this movie, 27 years later, this movie's still very timely. And I'm wondering, is that the movie Jeff Bridges did after he did The Big Lebowski? Total 180 on that. My God, tragic, great movie, Arlington Road. And I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. That ending, my God. And you can watch that right now, I believe, on Prime Videos where I watched that. So give it a watch. Ben Rondo's been telling me, a lot of people have been telling me to watch that for a long time. And you know what? Arlington Road, it did not disappoint. That's for sure. I was listening to the Extras podcast, and George Fellenstein says W has done over 100 movies being worked on for physical media release, mostly in 2026. I hope so. They obviously keep making deals with other studios. Let's see. Do you have an Arlington neighbor? LOL. That's a good point. That's funny. Thank God, no, I don't have an Arlington Road neighbor. One that's gonna frame me for something. I don't have that. Thank God. It's still. It was a very good movie, but my neighbors are pretty good. We have the best relationship in the world. I don't bother them, and they don't bother me, and that's all I could ask for is that they leave me alone and I leave them alone. We're all very, very happy that way. Because I mean, but I wouldn't fall for it. I wouldn't be. The reason why he's so paranoid is because everything that happened to him and what he teaches in school, so he knows the negative side to things. Jeff Bridges, Tim Robbins, Joan Cusack, 3 awesome performers. Joan Cusack, people always forget Joan Cusack. I feel like most people just think of her from School of Rock or in Shameless, but I mean, she's been going since broadcast news. I think she was like really even bigger before her brother John Cusack took off. She's so good. Tim Robbins always great. Always love Tim Robbins. And such a good movie, isn't it? But yeah, I finally caught up to it. Let's see. What's up next? Well, we know that like possibly Gremlins 2 could be coming to 4K Blu-ray. And if you guys know me, I'm a huge Gremlins and Gremlins 2 fan. Gremlins 2 is that movie that, wasn't supposed to be what it was. Joe Dante wasn't going to come back unless he could make the movie he wanted to make. And it's basically a satire of the first Gremlins movie to the point where you even get Leonard, what's his name? Who's the freaking film critic in the movie that they tie up? I know he didn't like the first movie, but they dressed him up in this movie and like basically attempted to kill him. But, he's such a good sport that he comes in and does it. He comes in, does the movie. But it takes place in the city. It's also got the guy from Scrooge, the asshole from Scrooge, who's also going to be like taking Bill Murray's job. He plays the same exact part in this movie. But it's supposedly coming to 4K. I could see this one coming to 4K in 2026. I mean, it's starting to develop, and it has over the years a pretty big cult following. I don't think it's as much of a step down from Gremlins 1 as other people might make it out to be, but I'm still happy that it's possibly going to be coming to 4K. I have the Hitcher 1986 Blu-ray. That's a great movie. Second Sight Film UK, my physical media. disc collection. That is a classic movie starring Rutger Hauer, deceased Dutch Hollywood actor. Yes, I love that movie. That was a big John Doe Juggalo Jeff movie, actually. I know that he was waiting so long for The Hitcher to come to 4K Blu-ray. It was like one of his most anticipated for a long time. And it ended up sticking the landing. That is a great 4K Blu-ray release. I would absolutely love to watch that one again. Excellent, Rafa. Do you like Soldier of Orange? I don't think I've seen Soldier of Orange. I know what it's about, obviously, with Vietnam and everything that was going on there and what they were doing to the soldiers, Agent Orange. But I haven't seen the film, but I do. I am very, very, very well aware of what happens in that movie. Here's the one, Marty Supreme. This one's coming to 4K Blu-ray. I imagine from A24. So this is like an easy prediction as well. I don't think it's officially been announced, but yeah, I guess it says March 3rd. So I'm assuming from A24, since this is one of A24's highest grossing films. I saw Marty Supreme. I think I talked to you guys a little bit about it. Marty Supreme was one of the most anticipated films from Josh Safdie last year. I thought the movie was pretty good. I love the score. I've been listening to this. It's a very 80s Sith heavy score, which is funny. I was listening to that yesterday. Great, great, great score. I just don't love the character that Timothy Chalamet plays as Marty Mauser, the Marty guy who makes the Marty Supreme, which is the ball, the orange glow ball. I don't know if it glows, but I found him very unlikable. That was my biggest flaw at the movie. Is like, and just a lot like Josh Safdie's previous movie that he did with his brother Benny Safdie, who also did a sports drama this year, which is or in 2025 with The Smashing Machine with The Rock. So they just love sports, which is cool. They're New Yorkers. Their first movie, which was Good Time, took place actually in Adventureland on Long Island, which is a real place that I used to work like, I don't know, 3 minutes away from. So, very New York film. And I wanted to love Marty Supreme, but I found him so unlikable. Like he didn't have anything redeeming about him. And I didn't want him to come out of this on the other side. Like he ripped off so many people. Like it's just, I don't know. It's just things that I wouldn't do as a human being. So, that's what makes a good movie too. It's asking you those morality questions. Do you forgive the character? Because it's still very well acted. Speaking of Abel Ferrara, missed 45. He's in this movie. I thought that's pretty cool. You get to watch Abel Ferrara act a little bit. Who Here Lies? Southern Comfort. Southern Comfort 1981 is a good movie. And Thief, I love Thief is one of my all-time favorites. That's Michael Mann. Great movie. Is a Soldier of Orange is a Print and has a Hauser and jarring crew from Fugitive. Really? I guess I should see it. The standard Blu-ray and the Blu-ray Ultra 4 discs so well. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, Southern. Yeah, I figure you don't got to correct yourself. I usually figured I type things wrong all the time. Powers Booth was my favorite part about Southern Comfort. Great setting too. One thing about, Powers Booth is a very criminally underrated actor, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, he's probably most famous for probably Tombstone, right? But Powers Booth, great actor, kind of a chameleon too. Could really fall into roles. Like, not every actor can do that. It's Bone Temple. Here's one that I thought was pretty interesting. I just took a screenshot of the whole thing. This is from Dawn of the Discs. But speaking of which, so Allegiance, is this Alliance Entertainment? So they're going to be doing physical media releases, it says, for a couple of MGM movies that are going to be coming out, mainly the Fallout shelf on Amazon, which is pretty cool. You get 4K Blu-ray releases, I imagine, for both of those. And it says they made a deal with MGM, which would include the James Bond films. Now, that's what stuck out to me and why I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about this, because we got James Bond films on 4K Blu-ray last year. We got the entire Sean Connery collection on 4K Steelbook and also a standard edition. Now, my anticipation and what I was expecting was that with this year we would get the Roger Moore collection on 4K Steelbook. And then, eventually we would get, obviously, maybe you do George Lazenby and Timothy Dalton combined, because between the two of them, there's only 3 movies. Maybe do like the other Bond box set. Whoops, knocking over my light. And then you do Pierce Brosnan. And obviously, we've already gotten the Daniel Craig movies on 4K Blu-ray, but those need some upgrades themselves. But I was thinking, that's how it was going to be. That was going to be the rollout plan. Now I'm a little bit conflicted. What's going to happen here? Are they going to be doing the rest of the James Bond 4K Blu-rays? Is that only for future James Bond 4K Blu-rays? I'm not entirely too sure, but it's always nice to see more studios committing to doing more physical media, because obviously there's a lot of fear in the world out there with Netflix, and are they going to ruin theaters? Are they going to ruin physical media? I don't know. Obviously, Stellan Skarsgård said what he said at the Golden Globes about like movies need to be in cinema. The Netflix CEOs and executives and Warner Brothers CEOs and executives were in the crowd. I don't think they give a shit. They're going to do whatever's best for their bottom line. Obviously, that's just always how it works. Greed is good, as Wall Street would say. Michael Douglas on Wall Street. Greed is not good. That's what destroys our planet, actually. Powers Booth was insane in Deadwood, probably the most underseen series. Deadwood is a great series. Yeah, it's a very underseen series. We didn't get we ended up eventually getting the proper conclusion, but you know what it is? It's just westerns. Like people who love westerns love Deadwood. It's like, but then again, Yellowstone and all these other shows are kind of like they're like neo westerns in a lot of ways, like they're modern day stuff. So maybe people still love westerns, but I just feel like in the film community, it's very hard for a lot of people or to get like hooked on westerns, and then TV, forget about it. So that's why we only get a few of them nowadays. That's why I want to check out Thunderheart, because a neo western from 1993. It sounds great. Look at that lush turf. It does look great, right? What's that? 3 electric cars in the parking lot. Everything adds up. Oh, maybe 4, actually. I don't know. Everything adds up to what you would expect from these people. Whatever gets us some physical media, though. That's all I'm here. John, more of a 2-hole hitter? 2-hole hitter? What does that mean exactly? I'm a little bit confused, but yeah, I guess that's really as far as the news goes. So let's look at the magic wheel. We got to add that to the stage because we got to spin this for our digital code giveaway, which, before we do it, let me show you the digital codes that we got available to you. A lot of these are donations. Now, it's not on the screen yet because I made this graphic a couple days ago, but Mellow Fellow donated the Scrooged 4K digital code as well. So that's also available to the people who are entered into our digital code giveaway, which you can see right here. So I'm going to shuffle up all the names. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. And then we're going to spin. I'm going to mute this so I don't have to hear the whole thing. Man, we can't have the elevator song. Got a copyright claim. So we'll see who our 2 lucky winners are. What are you betting? The 2 holes. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not really a betting person anyway, believe it or not, with the world we live in today. I'm not big into that. Or bet leadoff. Oh, so I see what you're saying. I would leadoff. Leadoff, 100%. An elevator going up. Nostalgia, 1 by 1 212. I mean, that's got to be a New York area code, right? You've won before. Nostalgia 1 by 1, so you know how this works. Spin again. And then we'll get our 2 winners. I'll explain to you what the winners have to do if they want their digital code. Good idea. Looks like it's going to be the Cat Daddy cartridge or the Unknown Seeker. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. The Unknown Seeker. If Cat Daddy Carnage wanted to challenge it, I'd allow it. So I'll leave it up to you, James, what you think when you watch the video back. You let me know. If you want a digital code, you could send it my way. That's pretty close. Unknown Seeker. Congratulations. So you guys know how this works. Reach out to me at letstalkentmt@gmail.com. Let me know which of the digital codes you want. As long as the other winner didn't take it, that digital code is all yours. So we're going to remove that. Congratulations, guys, on your wins. There's a standard Blu-ray on sale on Umbrella Entertainment website shop sale. Ooh, really? The new Blu-ray title is named Black Death, a British period action independent movie. Really? I've never seen it. Sounds interesting. I'm trying to watch more movies, as many new movies as I possibly can. That's one thing about physical media. Sometimes it gives you the opportunity to watch movies on 4K that maybe you haven't seen too much before. I'm waiting for my one battle after another 4K. It's been kind of a slow start to this year. I'm sure you guys have noticed I haven't had any new 4K Blu-ray reviews for you guys. Just kind of had a couple. I mean, I did have HUD, which is a pretty, I had some stuff that I wanted to talk about, like The Shining, doing the classic 4K reviews, things like that. But, it's been slow rolling with the new 4Ks coming out. So I got 1408. Got one battle after another, and then there's a couple of the last 2 John Woo movies I need, like Bullet in the Head and Once a Thief. I have them ordered. They haven't come yet, so eventually those will show up as well. And then House Party at the end of the month, still waiting on that. What's that? Something Bodies. I'm drawing a blank. I have that ordered that I've never seen before, actually, from TerraVision. That's one I still got pre-ordered as well. And then Birth and Ordinary People are what I got for the rest of the month. It just might slip over into February, depending, because everything kind of comes out at the end of the month, and then February is lining up to be a real nice month too. But been a little bit We've been just doing the classic 4K reviews and some lists to start the year. What's up, Mr. Smelly Potato, our channel bankroll member? How you doing in here, buddy? Hope everything is going well. Always nice to see you. Did Sir John watch any Asian horror films, like Japanese horror films, Korean horror films? Yeah, I watch, actually, thanks to my buddy Frank from Frank's Media Reviews, I've been watching a lot more Japanese horror films and Asian horror films, just Asian cinema in general over the last couple of years. But I'm a big Park Chan-wook fan. Like, I've always been a fan of Old Boy and his films. Very excited to see No Other Choice on Saturday. Not Saturday. I'm gonna actually go on Monday. Now that I think about it, go and then pick my wife up from the train station. So yeah, I'm gonna go on Monday and see No Other Choice. Very excited about that. But I saw Audition for the first time last year. That movie's fantastic. Obviously, I've seen Ringu. That's a great one. But the more and The Wailing. I'm trying to add to my international film slate as the years go on. French and Japanese, French and Asian horror, but even like Brazilian. Like I wanted to see what was that movie that came out last year that I had that still hasn't come over here yet, which is crazy. The Secret Agent, I think it's called. The Brazilian film. I want to see that really bad. So there's like I'm always trying to check out some new international films as well. Asian horror is just great though. There's so much of it. Like there's box sets on it. But yeah, I'm always trying to learn more. What's up, Tony the Lone Rider Smith? How you doing, buddy? Announcements might be coming this week. Any predictions? Did you see Fish Tank? I'd go for 4K up to it. I've never seen Fish Tank. I want to see a fish called Wanda. I don't know what their April. Are we already getting into April announcements? That's crazy. I mean, when they do that, oh my god, Criterion. These months keep sneaking up on you. I'm not too sure what to expect from Criterion in April. They gave us Kills of the Flower Moon. That was a big one. Like I said, I would like some more Del Toro stuff, so that would be cool to get some Criterion stuff from that. Who else? The Shrouds didn't get a 4K release, but that's already been released. I'm trying to think of like the big time directors that we could use some stuff from, like Cronenberg or like The Color of Money. I will always go to bat for that when it comes to Scorsese. Like Scorsese's a bet. Like we'll probably get Silence in the Criterion collection at some point, just because it's such a big Criterion movie. I mean, Scorsese movie, or Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Like I don't know how come we keep skipping that. Like that needs a 4K Blu-ray release. I forget it sometimes too. So what's that say? King of Comedy could use a nice 4K Blu-ray release. These are old Blu-rays that need some upgrades. Where'd the missus go? She's in the other room. Actually, it's 1:14:20. And Frank still hasn't watched Backdraft. That son of a bitch. I got this new series with the classic 4K Blu-ray reviews, and I already did one, did The Shining. I filmed my second one the other day, and actually, I'll go to the gentleman who recommended that. I want to see No Other Choice. I'm going Monday, man. I can't wait. It's hitting the theaters this weekend, like AMC and stuff like that, like the major movie chains. Like you can probably go see it now. Like I'm sure you're like me, where you're like you can't really go and you don't get invited to screenings or anything like that. So you go when they come to your local theaters. So been waiting a long time for No Other Choice. So, but Mr. Smelly Potato, he recommended I do Total Recall, which is a film I've never reviewed here on the channel. I'm a big Arnold fan, big Total Recall fan. So that's next up in the classic 4K series. But maybe I'll do Backdraft, because I never got to review that. And I love Backdraft. I really do. Cure 1997 is an excellent. I saw that actually. That's another one I saw last year for the first time was Cure. That was another Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews recommendation. So if you're not following Frank, buddy, Frank's a huge Asian cinema horror fan, and he'll buy them all. So definitely check his stuff out. He's a huge into it. And honestly, that's the guy who usually gives me my Asian horror recommendations. I'm always open to recommendations, like Ben Rondo and Somniac always recommended me. Stacy, always good films. I put them on a list. I finally got around to Arlington Road, so eventually I do. A while back, but they lost it somehow. I think Sophia wants in the correct. I did hear that. That was the initial thing when like Lost in Translation was lost by Kino, is that Sophia wanted in the Criterion collection. And she's already had some of her stuff released, like the Virgin Suicides is a great 4K through them. So I wouldn't be surprised if that eventually does happen. I mean, I don't know why. I love Lost in Translation. I've been waiting to watch the 4K Blu-ray for a while now. One of Bill Murray's best performances, just because we can't watch it. So I've been waiting. Like, remember, it was like, what? 2 full years ago, maybe 3 full years ago, when we got that first initial announcement of Lost in Translation. And I haven't watched the movie because I've been anticipating the 4K. And I know the second I watch the movie, they're going to announce it. And I'm going to be like, it's going to be like, Big Daddy, we ruined a good surprise on you. And I don't want that to have it. You guys haven't done a Q&A video in a while. So Actually, it's funny you said that. I did a Q&A the other day with David on Monday, but it was more of a joint Q&A. But I'm thinking about doing a Q&A where it's just me, like once a month. I was talking to another channel director, Kevin Kruger, about this, and I was thinking of like what I'll do is do a Q&A once a month, maybe like on a Monday. I'm not too sure, and I'll send out like feelers to the channel members, like to send in their questions, and then I'll take the extra questions in the chat. So I think that's what I'm gonna do starting next month because these lives are fun and it seems like people come out to watch them, so like, it's always exciting. I always appreciate that, and I love answering questions, so I don't mind. Stacy always asks great questions too. I just can't answer them all. I try. What's sad is I'm probably gonna have to pay to get the Man to Watch backdraft. Son of a, you know what? It's ridiculous. I messaged Frank today. Actually, you'll appreciate this, Insomniac, because you saw that Dante Moore is spending one more year in Oregon. Frank, that fuck, is an Oregon Ducks fan. And, obviously they didn't win the national championship. They got blown out by Indiana. It's going to probably beat Miami. But the two quarterbacks were Francisco Mendoza and then Dante Moore over there in Oregon. And Dante Moore would have gone number 2 to the New York Jets, my football team, if he didn't stay in college. He probably made the right choice. I wouldn't want to go to the Jets. But I had to message Frank and be like, your guy wants to stay there instead of coming into New York. I don't blame him. If you're not following Frank, do you even like, exactly, do you like movies? Frank's the fucking man. I'm so glad you enjoyed Arlington Road. I was a young girl in the cinema. I thought everyone was a bomber after that. Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, what's it called? It was just it was such a good movie. Such a good I would really you guys were definitely gonna let me down on that one. Are you gonna make a list of movies you've seen in January video? Of course. I that's gonna be a monthly video that I do every single month. I always do that video. I'm glad you guys like it too because it's fun to make. It's challenging. I'm not gonna lie. It's challenging to rank them all because it gets over 30 movies. I'm like, do I like that movie more than this movie? It gets a little hard. I'm not gonna lie, but I like the challenge. I love doing lists. I love them. Oh yeah, the Q&A were fun. I remember those. So yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna pencil in for next month. I'm gonna do a Q&A, then try and make it a monthly thing because I did like doing it. What happened was when I was recording them, I was taking the questions and making a whole video and then editing. That edit took like 3 hours. The editing has really burnt me out a little bit, guys. I'll be honest. So that's why more lives is kind of a little bit easier for me. So I want to make sure I still have my reviews and my lists and everything like that, and like 3 or 4 videos a week. But the editing kind of burnt me out on that. That's why Let's Talk Physical Media is live now, because that was, you used to have the Q&A as well, and it just became such a struggle to get that done. And it was like, again, I'm married, and the wife gets a little upset if I don't spend enough time with her. And I get that. I should. I'm curious where you put AR. Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I've watched some pretty bad movies that'll be lower than Arlington Road. I can guarantee you that. Arlington Road, though, I've also watched movies like The Shining and The Thing, so I don't know if it got that high. When Kino Lorber closed their Studio Classic sub-label in the company, I got disappointed. My friends in Canada and USA got sad also. Some got disappointed, too. Yeah, I mean, that's what kind of sucks. It's like when things like that happen. Canada always kind of gets screwed. Is that where you're from? You're up in Canada? Because I have a buddy in Canada too. Who also I wonder how he felt about that. It's so good. It's been many years since I've seen it. Yeah, now I have to grab the physical release, is what that means. A lot of public money on Indiana. I don't know. Fade the public. I could see Miami taking it into the deep water with that offensive line and run game. Yeah, it's funny. The head coach was on the last championship team, which was what, 2001. It's got to suck for Cam Ward, though, right? If they end up winning the national championship this year, 1 year after he goes to the NFL, makes you wonder about Cam Ward anyway, right? Because the team kind of still did good without him. Is he that valuable? That's the question. Tell us to bring questions. LOL. I will. Like I said, you're a channel member, so I'll put a post out for all the channel members to send questions in. And I'll make sure that I answer those questions, or at least one question from each member, because if I get like 5 questions, it'll be too much. But I'll make sure I answer all the channel members' questions first, and then I'll go in and do all the chat questions. So we'll have to wait and see. Can you do a live watch party for your favorite 90s comedies movies? Do you guys like those watch-alongs? I used to do them, but they didn't really get much traction. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. As long as people are going to watch it, I have no problem doing anything, like I've learned, like in years of doing YouTube, I've learned that my new movie reviews, like, so if I go see like Park Chung-wook's No Other Choice, I know that video is not going to do great here on the channel because that's not really what this channel is. So I save my new movie. I'm 2026. I'm gonna save my new movie reviews for when I do that ranking list in January. That's when we'll talk about all the new films, or January, February, March. Whenever I do the ranking list, that's when we'll do all like the new movie reviews and do my director reviews for like in one video as well. But I'll maybe include some physical media in there just because that's kind of like what works here on the channel. Like I don't want to do something that like somebody's not gonna like. That's the only thing. Like I don't want to if like I put that video out and only gets like 100, that means people aren't interested in the new movie reviews, which is fine. That's fine. That's they always say follow what works. So even though I like seeing new movies, we'll talk about them a little bit freer, like kind of on here because we're physical media first, aren't we? You're always taking care of us members. I try to make my channel members feel like you guys are important. I appreciate that you feel that way. If I'm not, that's the thing. If any of you guys are channel members, you like have free access to me to let me know what you want to see change and what I can fix. Like I take criticism. I like it as long as you just don't call me like a piece of shit or an asshole or something like that. I mean, you can call me an asshole, but as long as you're like not screaming at me to change something, I want criticism because how else am I supposed to know how we're supposed to do? Northern. Oh, that's right. We talked about this last week. You're in Northern Ireland. I'm sorry, but I have friends in the UK, Republic of Ireland, France, Spain, Portugal, USK, Canada, Australia. I only don't have any friends from New Zealand. Oh, okay. That's right. You said Northern Ireland last week. I'm sorry, buddy. I forgot. I'm sorry. That's on me. I should have remembered. That's right. We talked last week about you being from Northern Ireland, and I have my buddy who lives in Belfast. Like, I don't know if you've watched any of our shows yet, so I imagine you guys probably have similar accents. Do you want new Faculty reboot? Where is the one at? I like Faculty. I like the original Faculty a lot. Actually, got the 4K. And you know what's funny? I was never the world's biggest Faculty fan, but the 4K Blu-ray actually kind of changed my opinion on it. It's just Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but it's a creative Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And what's funny is, you know how Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, they're always working together. They're like real life, like really good friends. And, they kind of came up in the 1990s together. And I feel like most people like Quentin Tarantino also like Robert Rodriguez. I'm not the world's biggest Robert Rodriguez fan. Is that strange? Like, From Dusk Till Dawn, like never like, I like that movie, but I was never like blown away and think like this, like some people are. Like, I really like it, but I never like truly, like I would say, love it. Who knows? New 4K could change that opinion. We'll have to wait and see. But just never was the world's biggest Robert Rodriguez fan. I don't know his style. Like I don't, you would think it would work with me based on everything else I like, but yeah, we never really like meshed. I don't know, just kind of not my thing. As strange as that is, my friends from these countries are mostly physical media disc collectors, comic book collectors, and graphic novels collectors. They also collect video game discs. Okay, so you're just in the collecting, which is cool because I only collect movies really, but we did when we started this channel. My cousin collects video games and he did the channel. Maybe we talked about that. I'm starting to try and collect more. I want to try and start collecting some books. I bought It today. I got the hardback cover of that. I'm gonna read that for the first time since high school because later in the year, David and I, aka Shamrock Balls, we're gonna be doing an episode on It, Chapter 2, the miniseries It, and on the book It. And we will try and like if we can watch Welcome to Derry, maybe we'll talk a little bit, but it's gonna be a whole thing on It. So I want to make sure I'm rereading the book beforehand because there's some very big key differences, including one big thing. I got to think of another movie to recommend you. What are your big name movies you haven't seen? Oh, that's a great question. I was trying to think about this recently. What is, I feel like all the movies I haven't seen are like smaller. So like, I'm trying to think of like what are some movies that I haven't seen. Uh, it's always tough. It's always tough. You guys maybe can rattle off. Like I'm trying to think if there's any like big omissions. The big one for me for a long time was Gone with the Wind, but I ended up seeing that for the first time last year. I wanted to wait till a 4K Blu-ray release. The rumor is that that's coming out this year, so that's probably a big one. I'm sure there's a lot of like classic, like James Cagney films that I haven't seen from that era, or there's even some Hitchcock films that I haven't seen. I'm trying to think if there's anything like in the 80s or 90s or 2000s that's like a huge film that I need to see. Like, I've seen everything from like Nolan. A lot of my blank spots are like in foreign cinema. Like that's where I'm like trying to catch up on. Like there's a lot of still like Kira Kurosawa films that I haven't seen that I need to catch up on those. Like those are like considered all time. Like I've never seen Ren. That's a huge one, I think. It's a Kira Kurosawa film. Like I've never seen that. But for the most part, I've hit like every big American one. It's tough, actually. I gotta like you guys like there's probably like movies that you love that I've probably never seen like that. It might be a little bit smaller. Like those are the ones to recommend. Like Mr. Smelly Potato will usually hit me with something I've never seen before. Like Miss 45. I never saw that. Or this month I'm reviewing for him Lady Snowblood, which we have a lot to talk about with that, Mr. Smelly Potato, because I see what you did there. I didn't know what I was going into it. In like 15 minutes, I'm like, Kill Bill? This is Kill Bill. this clearly inspired Kill Bill. I like Robert Spy Kids. I do like the Spy Kids movies, but that's also because I was a kid when they came. Well, not a kid, but I was young when they came. Watch Fish Tank. It's a good British film flick. Okay, I'll add that. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, because I have my list. One movie that's been on this list forever is a movie from my brother-in-law, Hill Street Blues, not Hills, Green Street Blues or Blue, something like that. And I don't know if I'll ever watch it. I have to. He's been recommended it to me for years. What's this movie called? Let me just make sure I get the name right so I can have it down. Fish Tank. Fish Tank. Not Shark Tank. Fish Tank. Fish Tank. All right. Make sure. I want to make sure I don't let you guys down. I want to make sure I watch the movies. PC games, CDs, they all used to collect. I used to collect CDs. My CD collection got stolen from me out of my car, actually, believe it or not. And I figured at that point, because I had started that collection when I was in second grade and I was 23, I was like, I'm never going to be able to replicate that. So I just kind of, now I'm full blown digital when it comes to music, which sucks, but it's also good because I mean, I can't afford it all, right? Anyone get Under Siege? I had to get it. 90s action is special. I was so on the fence. I was like, do I want this? Do I not want this? Like, I'm really not a Seagal guy, and that's kind of what like made me say no. As much as I love Tommy Lee Jones in that movie and Gary Busey, and I do, and I love Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, without that movie, we don't get The Fugitive, because that's where Aaron David, whatever his name is, Aaron Davis, the director of that movie, he went on to direct the next year, actually, The Fugitive, and that's where Tommy Lee Jones got to play. He got to play Samuel Gerard. What is it? Deputy U.S. Marshal Samuel Gerard. Your fugitive's name is Dr. Richard Kimball. Go get him. That's still my favorite Harrison Ford performance. Count me in for current movie reviews. I watch your channel because you are authentic. That's what's great about it. You can do a variety of content. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. I'm glad you like the new movie reviews. Yeah, they just don't really get much views. I mean, listen, I'm not on here for I'm not trying to make this channel like it'd be a dream. I would love it if this became like a huge YouTube channel. This could become my only job, but I don't expect that. So like for the most part, that's why I don't really promote this stuff on social media anymore or anything like that. Just hope people find it and they enjoy it. And I do things a little bit different than other physical media content creators. Not all of them, but some of them. Like I don't do I don't get review copies and I don't go to screenings for movies because I feel like it's a little disrespectful to you guys for me to do something like that. Like if I got something for free, I feel like it devalues the review a little bit. Now, this isn't. I say these things and I don't want to hurt my fellow physical media reviewers. That's the only thing, because like I'm not saying they're dishonest or anything. I just feel like it kind of will hurt my reviews a little bit. So it's just kind of my thing. Is like I don't like to buy. I like to buy all the stuff I'm going to review. That's what I do. So anything I review here on the channel, I've bought myself. The only thing is I've had, I think, 2 or 3 reviews where directors have sent me like screeners of their movies that they wanted me to review. And I was honest. I remember one guy sent me, it was a good short film too, and I felt guilty. I gave the film like a 6.5 out of 10. I felt guilty, but I really can't lie. I'm not gonna lie. That's just there's certain standards that I feel like we all have to hold ourselves to. And if we're on YouTube or any kind of content creators, like don't lie to your viewers. Like that's the worst thing you can do. Siegel is so goofy. He has one expression for everything. Seagal's just such a fucking. I mean, I really don't love the guy, but I mean, it's funny to make fun of him. I am a huge fan of 1980s and neo-noir films. So that's literally some of my favorite films ever. Some people of Gen Z, what I am, because I was born in 2000, really appreciate these classic neo-noir films. Hey, listen, no problem. I mean, you're 8 years younger than me. I'm not that old. I might look a little old, but I'm only 33. You know, most of my favorite films, I was looking at this, like if you go through my top 10 favorite films, most of them came out before I was born. I think like the newest one would be fucking like Pulp Fiction in 94. Otherwise, all my favorite films came out well before I was born. And I like to find new films all the time, classic films, international films. I as men, obviously physical media collector, I like rewatching movies too. I like just like all of you guys, but you can never rewatch a film for the first time. That's the whole thing. Like, there's always you only have a first time once. So like that emotional gut punch, it's so hard to replicate. But on rewatches, you also discover new things. And that's what makes rewatching films fun. But it's really hard to get that emotional gut punch anytime after the first time. Like should I watch 28 years later? It probably won't affect me. I might not like it the next time I watch for the beard. Well, thing too about a good beard, right? Yeah, that's one of my defining features is that I actually can grow a decent enough beard. I wish the hair on top grew like the beard, but unfortunately, that's not how things work. Seagal ruins weird. I agree. 6 of 10 is good. 6 of 10 is good. Greed is good. The Long Good Friday, 19, Mona Lisa. Oh my God, these are all great. Beloved, Deep Cover, 1992. Deep Cover is the most underrated film of all time. I'm so glad you brought that film. I remember those titles so excellent to see. And I saw The Long Good Friday, which has a Criterion 4K release. Also, I think has an Arrow UK release. Are some of my favorite films. I love The Long Good Friday. That one I can thank David, aka Shamrock Balls, for because he was the one who recommended that one to me. And then we did it on the Let's Talk Movies podcast. We actually did it for Easter. We did The Long Good Friday, obviously, and what a score to that movie too. My God. My Bob Hoskins is great. And you believe, I don't know if you knew this, but they dubbed him and when it first came out, for American audiences, they dubbed Bob Hoskins like because they didn't think people would understand his accent. I can't imagine that movie without his accent. It works so well as a Criterion, right? Yeah, Criterion Blu-ray deep cover and great Criterion Blu-ray. I want a 4K of it because it's just so beautifully shot. I mean, Bill Duke directed that movie. Him and Jeff Goldblum, Lawrence Fishburne, who I always said is the most underrated actor of all time. Lawrence Fishburne and Jeff Goldblum have phenomenal chemistry in that movie. You wouldn't expect it. It's just the way it's shot. It's classic noir. Like has something that they did in Dead Presidents too, which is after that movie. But like the smoke-filled interiors, and you get the one light shining down, and then the characters lean into the light and you only see their heads and then they lean back and they disappear. I love shit like that. And to do it in the 90s with the 90s film stock works so great. 1981 is the second most popular year for my collection. 1993 is taking the crown. I actually got to go through and do like what's a year. I mean, I did a decades thing and I counted the movies that I had the most from each decade. You guys won't be surprised. 1980s won pretty easily, then 1990s, then the 70s, and then the 2000s. And then I think the 40s, actually. I have more 40s films than I have 60s and 50s films. I even have quite a few 30s films, but it's weird that I for some reason 60s films. I got to watch more 60s films. That's like the turning point in Hollywood. Obviously, I just watched HUD for the first time recently. How did we not have Bonnie and Clyde on 4K? Someone reminded me that, and I was like, yeah, that's weird, right? Isn't that like that's like considered like the turning point in film? Like that's where Hollywood changed. That's when they really they obviously were like it was like a gradual dropping the code to where things like could be a little bit more darker on film. But by the 70s, everything was dark. But Bonnie and Clyde, you would think would have a 4K release by now. That's a shame. Can't knock Seagal's run of action hits. I mean, listen, I'm not knocking the success of the guy. I felt like you had on the A tier of action stars, you had Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and you had Bruce Willis once he finally came to fruition in like the late 1980s. But I think he solidly joined that A list of action stars. And then at the B tier, right underneath them, you had Steven Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme, where they more made niche films for people who like those kinds of action movies. And I was not a big fan of both of them growing up, I'll be honest. And then as I got older, I learned to appreciate Jean-Claude Van Damme more. Still haven't come around on Seagal. I still think he's an asshole. So haven't come around too fully on him. And you hear all the stories about how he couldn't lose his fights. At least like Jean-Claude Van Damme can take a beating, And I also just think even he's the better actor. 1980 is the second most popular in my collection. So I read that one. My bad. John, have you seen Surviving the Game? I've heard the movie. Let me see. So let me just double check to see if I've actually seen Surviving the Game. Is this one I have to add to the list? Surviving the Game, 1994 action thriller. I have not seen this movie. No, I have heard of this movie though. Ernest Dickerson directed this. The Ernest Dickerson, the guy who directed one of Ernest Dickerson directed Juice. He was the cinematographer on fucking pretty much on every Spike Lee movie through Malcolm X, and then Juice came out the same year as Malcolm X. He also directed Bulletproof and he directed one of the Tales of the Crypt spin-off movies, right? The one with Billy Zane. Shit, I never saw this movie. I have to add this one to the list because I love Ernest Dickerson. Oh, it says Ice-T's in it. I've always felt like he was a very underrated. And also, anytime I see Ernest Dickerson doing an interview, one of the best interviews. If you could ever see Ernest Dickerson talking, listen to him. He's phenomenal. I love that guy. '76 was a banger year. 1776. I would say a banner year for the United States. 250 years. Love 90s film stock, right? It's that's how you're always able. I'm sure, as you guys understand this. I can't tell this to other people because they won't get it. But I'm sure as film fans, you understand. Like you can place a movie just from the film stock because like you're like, that came out in the early '90s. That came out in the late '80s. That came out in the late '70s. Film stock changes. Like it really does make a difference on the movie itself. Tonally, like that's very important in my opinion. The Gen Z fans of Keanu Reeves, the best Hollywood Canadian actor, don't know and never heard his first movie named River's Edge. Great movie, actually. I had to see. I love this film. I have it in my collection. River's Edge is a great one. Keanu Reeves is one of the. He's not the world's greatest actor, but did I say River's Edge? But he's one of the greatest human beings. So that gets a lot of a pass for him because he just seems like a very genuine guy. When you give him less lines, though, movies like The Matrix and the John Wick films, I can't imagine anyone else in those roles except for him. So, and not to mention Johnny Utah in Point Break, one of my all-time favorites. I love Keanu Reeves. Do we have any Warren Beatty on 4K? Starting to wonder. We don't have. Wow, there's actually a lot of Warren Beatty. You're right, we don't have that on 4K. I wanted to watch Reds pretty recently. Actually, Rico Gomez is in here. Rico, I tried to redeem Reds so I could watch it, and it wouldn't work on my phone, something with iTunes, so I have to do it on the computer to get it. But I was gonna watch Reds. So that's a Warren Beatty film that I haven't seen, starring Jack Nicholson, Diane Keaton, and Warren Beatty, and I think Gene Hackman pops up in it. I wanted to watch it the other day. Romeo's Bleeding Night and Red Rock West. Red Rock West are my favorite films that also own in my physical media. I love them. Red Rock West is a good call. Surviving the Game is a must watch. Well, it's on the list now. Now that I've gotten Arlington Road off there, the 1-star, that's it. It's on the list. It's made the list, and hopefully I'll watch it before the month's over. I was at Hollywood Event Night, and Seagal was there. He signed an autograph when I asked, but he was fucking pissed doing it. Yeah, that's what I mean. It sounds like the guy doing it. That sounds like Steven Seagal to me. Somehow pisses everybody off, including his, and yet he nailed what's her name, Kelly LeBrat from fucking I don't know how he did that. From Weird Science. This guy, it's unbelievable. Of all the people in the world, Steven Seagal? God, it's Kelly LeBrat from Weird Science? Steven Seagal? It's not fair to the rest of us, is what it is. Charles Sutton, Gary Busey. Oh my God, Rucker Howard. That's a stacked cast. 90s trailers were the best. Yeah. So have you guys ever seen the 1997 film Ang Lee, The Ice Storm? So it's on the Criterion channel right now. I'm gonna watch it, but I put the trailer on to show my wife, and you had the trailer guy doing the voice. I'm like, don't you fucking miss that? Like that was the best when the trailer guy described. Obviously sometimes it can be schmaltzy, but that was it sold you on the movie. I miss that. I really do miss that guy. My Aussie friend wants Romeo's Bleeding 1993 New York noir film to get a standard Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray edition in Oshria. He is a fan of Gary Oldman's British actor. Gary Oldman's phenomenal. One of the all-time greats as well. That's another chameleon who can blend in the roles. Is Wesley Snipes ahead or behind Seagal Van Damme? I put Wesley Snipes ahead of him. I can't put Wesley Snipes on the A tier, so I guess he would have to fall to the B tier, but I think he's better than Seagal and Van Damme because he's a better actor. And, he can do more than just action. Like Seagal and Van Damme can only do action. Like, so you can put Wesley Snipes in movies like White Men Can't Jump and New Jack City, which aren't really action films. New Jack City has action sequences, but it's not really an action film. It's drama, You can't watch Reds now with all the NFL on. I know. I'm going to have a tough time this weekend. Well, I have to watch Misery. I have to watch Misery this weekend. What else do I have to definitely watch? I think that, and I want to watch Park Chung-wook's last film before I go see No Other Choice. When you're in the mood for something, you guys got to kind of take advantage of that because it passes. So right now I'm in a Park Chung-wook mood, and I don't want it to pass. Mellofellow. Hi, John. Chat. See if you can see the documentary Visions of Light, the art of cinematography. Ernest Dickens in that right now at the start. Yeah, I actually have seen that. I think Rico sent me that actually, right? Rico, didn't you send me that a few months ago? And yeah, Ernest Dickerson is, again, Kelly Brock from Weird Science, absolute smoke show. And that woman went to freaking Seagal. Life isn't fair. It really isn't. That piece of shit got her. They were hard to kill together. That's where they met. That's where they got. That's why they got. She didn't act anymore. She stopped acting. She was so happy in her life with Steven Seagal. maybe there's something about Steven Seagal I'm missing. I don't know. It could be me. I wouldn't rule it out. Also, watch El Dorado starring John Wayne and James Caan. It's a good Western. El Dorado. I've heard of El Dorado, never seen it. Love James Caan. Also in a James Caan. All right, when I had to see. These are the movies I haven't seen. Like I tried. I'm sure we all do this when we first get in the film. You want to bang out all the classics first, and then start exploring. So you want to get all the big ones and what people say are like 5-star films out of the way. So you've seen them, and then start working your way down. Then you start discovering movies that you like that nobody else likes. Movies you've had since your childhood that like Frequency. That's one I always recommend to people. Like that's a favorite of mine. I feel like that's kind of in the same vein as Arlington Road too. Like it's kind of like they feel very like mid-budget kind of thrillers of the time. Gary's old man. So I always recommend Frequency to people. Hey, James Caan with hair. Well, James Caan aged so fast, did he not? Like, look at him in 1972 as Sonny, and then look at him in Thief about, what's that, 9 years later. And then fast forward 9 years after that to Misery. He's an old man. And then by the time he's an elf, he's an elderly man. It's crazy. Wesley was hilarious in Dolomite is my name. That's what I was saying, Leonard Washington. When he came back in Dolomite, I want to watch Dolomite. Great movie, by the way, with him and Eddie Murphy as the director. He's so fucking funny. And then when they finished, all right, see you all at the premiere, and just walks out right after they're all done. He was so good. I love Wesley Snipes, man. Very underappreciated. I mean, I guess he's appreciated enough. What am I saying? I know that Romeo's Blade is not a good and best movie, but it's a cult classic today. It deserves more recognition for cinephiles than you are. You see, like, it might have been badly reviewed at the time, but a lot of movies get badly reviewed when they first come out. It doesn't make them bad films. It's just like, they got to define their audiences. And sometimes I can feel like critics can be a little snobbish, especially back in the day. I think, modern day people, they could still be sometimes, but they're not as snooty as they were back then. Like I was listening to a podcast. They were talking about Ace Ventura and like how that pissed off so many film critics in 1994. Now I love Ace Ventura, but I understand like that maybe they weren't expecting something like that. But I love Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. But you can see like critics kind of can be a little snooty about things, and they don't see everything about a film. I try and find the positives. Like there's some stuff that's just bad. Visions of Light a long time ago. See, that's what I knew you recommended that to me. I don't forget, Rico. I don't forget. I just don't have time. I'm returning my underseas now. Psych, keeping it for Tommy. No, don't let me sell something that you love short. I just give you my opinion, and that's all it is. Like, my opinion is that's it. Like, if you love a movie, I don't want to ever take that away from anybody because I shouldn't. The Lord of Illusions and Deadly Blessing. Deadly Blessing is great. Are my favorite horror films. Who here enjoyed these classical? Deadly Blessing is awesome, actually. I haven't watched that since 2020. Excalibur and Cutter's Way, both coming soon for 1981's fan. Excalibur is at the end of February, right? I started to pick up Lord of Illusions today. Oh, nice. My friend of USA owns standard Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray disc edition of Shout Factory 2022. Bones and All Stars, Timothée Chalamet and Taylor Russell. Yeah, that was from the same director who gave us Call Me by Your Name, which I have on 4K up there in the Sony Pictures Classics box set. Bones didn't. What was the third film? They did another film after Bones and All. I'm drawing a blank on it, but same director. Bones and All is pretty good. A lot of movies about cannibalism over the last few years. Raw from a few years ago, very similar to that. That director's next film, Titan, that's a crazy fucking film. It's very rare you see a movie about somebody getting knocked up by a car. It just doesn't happen often. And it makes you wonder about the baby. How's the baby going to be since the father's a car? A lot of questions in that movie. But still like it. They went for it, Good sir, Leonard. Good work. Why, thank you. But 36 people in here. I've noticed the time though, and I do have to get out of here, guys, a little bit. I gotta go make dinner, and like I said, I've been up since 4 a.m. I just thank you guys all so much for coming here. It really does humble me every single week to like that you guys like to just come out and watch me do this live show. I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys so much. I really and like I said, not only are we going to be doing this every Wednesday, the holidays are past us. I will be doing more live shows going forward. So I appreciate everyone who's been in here. And what's for dinner? I am having chicken cut. Well, last night we had chicken cutlets. Tonight I'm going to have a chicken cutlet hero with the leftover chicken cutlets. So I bought a loaf of bread at my regular job. I'm going to go put some American cheese, some red onion, a little bit of mayonnaise, and heat it up and call myself a sandwich. So I just thank you guys all so much for being here. Thanks for getting somewhere to hang out on one. I appreciate that. Thank you to Jeff. And make sure you guys are subscribed to Jeff's channel, John Doe Juggalo. And even though he's not in here, make sure you're subscribed to Frank from Frank's. I hate being here. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews channel as well, because again, he's just one of the best out there. How could you not be? And thank you guys all so much. Insomniac, Mr. Smelly Potato, all of my channel members, from the friends of the channel, the producer of the channel, Ben Rondo, Harvey Scott, channel Uncle V, Kevin Kruger. Thank you guys all so much. Mr. Smelly Potato is obviously the big channel bankroll member. I just want to just make sure you guys know how much I appreciate you. So we'll be doing this next Wednesday. I got some videos coming out for you guys over the next few days. You'll have my first new 4K Blu-ray review of 1408 coming out on Sunday. On Friday, we have the Axis Cinema Appreciation on The Godfather. On Tuesday, we got the top 10 movies to watch in the winter on physical media. And then I'm going to be working on my One Battle After Another 4K review coming. So got a lot in the pipeline coming up pretty soon. So I hope you guys all have a great night. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for saying that, Ben Rondo. I appreciate that. Tony the Low Rider Smith, and enjoy your night, guys.